Guys, it's me. It is 7:15. I'm just gonna wait for everything to load here, but we're gonna get going here in the next few seconds. Just kind of moving my notes around here. How's everyone tonight? Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Just sitting outside. It's a little warm in the house, so I just wanted to do this outside. And honestly, I don't have any props or anything like that, so I just wanted to have a really good discussion with you guys tonight. I can't find my stand, so hopefully this will work. So tonight we are going to be talking about holistic nutrition and your relationship with food. All right, so we're not going to be talking about calories, macronutrients, any like diets, any of that. We are not talking about weight loss tonight. Okay, I want to be very, very clear about that. To be very honest, weight loss is just a lovely benefit to eating properly. Okay, so I'm gonna get to it here. I think, yeah, we're 2 minutes in here, so I'm gonna kind of get going here. Please comment below, okay? If you have any questions or concerns, please say hello. I'd love to give you a shout out, say hi to you, all of that. And it makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself. But yeah, so we're gonna get going here. Hey, Kaylee. Yeah, so we are talking about health, okay? Not weight loss. I made quite a few notes, so if it sounds like I'm reading, I probably am. But hey, Kelly, nice to see you, sweetie. So yeah, so we're gonna get to it here. Wanda, hi Wanda, how are ya? Nice to see you tonight. Yeah, please say hi. Thumbs up, whatever. Don't be shy. So yeah, so we're gonna get to it. So we're talking about holistic nutrition, your relationship with food, and how it actually affects your health. And when I'm talking about health, I mean your actual health. I'm not talking about weight loss here, okay? These are the things that your body is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. We all have these issues, so I really want to talk about it, okay? Again, we were talking about health, not weight loss. I really want to stress that, okay? So let's just kind of get to it. One of my favorite things, and if you're on my email list, you will always see this as a tag on my email, and it's the Hippocrates. There's two sayings. One is my very favorite: let food be thy medicine, and let medicine be thy food. And I wholly, completely believe that medicine should come from food first and foremost. So just to start off here, I am actually a certified raw chef, level 2. And that might not mean very much to you guys, but at the end of the day, and this was about, I'm going to say 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, but it taught me so much. And honestly, I'm kind of craving to take another class, just to kind of re-educate myself and stuff like that. But as I was doing some research this afternoon on this topic, I was kind of, excited because this is sort of my forte. I've always been this way ever since I was young. I've had IBS. I didn't know I had IBS until it was really bad a few years back. It hasn't really gotten a lot better up until probably the last, just even the few weeks. And again, just starting to listen to my body and going back to the things that I actually know. Not worrying about following a diet, just kind of listening to my body. What are the things that I actually need? What are the things that work for me? And again, not about weight loss here, okay? So we're talking about inflammation. So inflammation is a big deal for most of us, okay? So most of us have a ton of inflammation, and I'm just going to give you sort of an actual definition here. So inflammation does not mean infection, okay? So it's not you got a cut on your finger and it's inflamed. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about bacterium, virus or fungus infection, things like that, and your body's response to it. Awesome. Okay. So that's what I really want to talk about tonight. And if you have any questions as we're going along here, please comment below. So when we talk about inflammation, a lot of this is coming from gut health. So what does gut health mean? All right. Gut health to me is very, very important, mostly because I struggle with gut health. And it's mostly because of my own choices. But gut health, let's just go back to the actual basics. 80% of your immune system lies in your gut, okay? Back to Hippocrates. All disease starts in your gut, and so does all of your health. So if you have bad gut bacteria, you're going to be sick a lot, okay? All of this comes from different things. Hey, Carmen. Different things. So the types of things that we're putting into our bodies and your body's reaction to those things. Okay, we're talking about refined sugars, processed foods, things that just really generally don't belong in our bodies. You know, we've gotten so far away from real food. We're eating real food products, and they're deemed healthy and all of these kinds of things. And your body doesn't really know what to do with it anymore. Okay, so when I was taking my raw food chef certification, what the few things that stood out to me was having mono meals. And again, this is going to kind of go against what we kind of teach you as far as a diet, regulating those blood sugars and things like that. But there's so many foods out there that are so nutritionally dense that your body does not actually take a lot to process them. Okay, and I know I'm going to probably get a few comments here about stuff like this, but I'm going to go back to sort of, again, my background with raw food. Raw food is what we all started out with, okay? There was no cooking, there was none of that. We talk about the caveman diets and stuff like that. The food that you eat should be in its most natural state, because that is what your body understands how to process. But when we start adding blended foods and things like that, it becomes a problem, all right? So bloating, unnecessary pain in your gut. We come to things like celiac. We're talking about IBS, right? Crohn's, all of those kinds of things. So I want to kind of address that kind of stuff. There's so many autoimmune diseases out there right now that are actually being healed by going back to real food. Again, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep talking about this. Again, Hippocrates had it right. Let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. Okay? It's very, very important that you guys understand where I'm coming from on this. What is better, boiling or steaming? I'm going to absolutely go with steaming veggies. Boiling, there's really no good that can come from boiling, because all the nutrients are going into the water. Are you drinking the water? Probably not, right? Steaming, you can get it to adjust to that lovely point where it's nice and green. So Kelly, just to add to that, in a raw food world, anything heated over 108 degrees, your food is losing its integrity. And that's including vegetables, fruits, nuts, anything like that. Okay, so once you start heating food, you're taking away the good properties of the food. Now, that being said, things like really starchy vegetables like broccoli, kale, all those kinds of things, it is a good thing to steam them, because it actually releases the enzyme that helps you digest it properly. Because if you ever have eaten raw broccoli, things like that, it's actually pretty hard to digest. If you guys have ever seen Big Bang, there's like an episode on it. It's called the cruciferous vegetable syndrome or something like that. And it's pretty funny, but that's exactly what happens, right? Your body has a really hard time digesting it and needs those extra enzymes to break it down. So steaming your vegetables just a little bit, especially your greens, is going to be a huge benefit to your digestion. Okay, does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. So again, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't heat your food over 108 degrees, mean you have to cook your food, blah, blah, blah. But just these are the things that I know. These are facts. It's not my opinion. It's just stuff I've learned in the past, okay? So eating real food. I want to touch on things like, I want to talk about sugar addiction tonight. Well, that would be why, Kaylee. You do need that extra, a little bit of a breakdown in order for your body to actually process and digest it. Otherwise, it's going to take an extreme amount of time, and it takes a lot out of your body. You don't necessarily have the acidity in your stomach to break it down properly, if that makes any sense. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about sugar addiction. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about what we just talked about here? Okay. So this is really important to me because I think that people who are just coming into sort of, trying to eat healthy. Baked cauliflower is fine. Again, cruciferous vegetable. You'll probably be fine with it. Again, please keep in mind, I'm coming from a raw food chef background. This is about health, not necessarily what's going to work for you. Okay, so this is just information that you can kind of base on going forward. I wouldn't eat. It's the same. The cauliflower is the same, very similar to broccoli. If you eat it raw, it's. I mean, lots of people do it, but it often causes a lot of upset, digestion, those kinds of things. Certainly, we use lots of cauliflower to replace things like rice, pizza crust, things like that. There's so many really cool recipes out there for stuff like that. Okay, I'm not saying that you shouldn't cook or whatever, but if your vegetables are consistency of mush, you probably have very little nutrients in there, and I think we kind of all know that as we've kind of gotten older. We kind of know that kind of stuff, right? But like I said, I really want to go to the sugar addiction thing here, okay? Because this is a real thing, and often I've heard, especially considering what I do, I hear, oh, this dismissive. These just dismissive comments about sugar. Oh, I'm coming off sugar, and it's a joke to them. Or yeah, I'm totally addicted to this, and a lot of times we make light of it, right? Sorry, our neighbors decided to come out right now. He's not going to do that, is he? He's about to weed whack his lawn.
I know, right?
Anyways, so let's talk about sugar, okay? Refined sugars and flour, so processed sugar, okay? I'm not talking about things like honey or natural occurring sugars. I'm talking about processed white sugar, okay? So sugar addiction is a real thing. He's not going to do that right now, is he? Anyways, can you put them in? My dogs are going crazy because the neighbor's outside. Anyways, so let's talk about dopamine, okay? So sugar. And I'm just going to read you guys a few things here. So when we eat foods that contain a lot of sugar, a massive amount of dopamine is released into the area of the brain. So it makes you feel good about what you're eating, right? So, and let's just kind of be real here. We're talking about junk food, right? We're talking about the sweets, the cakes, the potato chips, all of those kinds of things, right? So at the end of the day, it's the processed food that's coming into play here. I might have to go inside. Super impressed right now. But so as the receptors start to so when we eat these foods in large amounts, the dopamine receptors start to down-regulate, okay? So what that means is you're not getting that great effect every single time. So each time, just like a drug, you need a little bit more. You need a little bit more, okay? So I'm talking about real things like cocaine, nicotine, all of those really addicting things, okay? We all know that those things are addicting. Sugar is no different. It reacts the exact same way in your brain as those other drugs do. Okay? So what happens is there are fewer receptors for the dopamine, and the cycle begins. So this means the next time that we eat these foods, the effect is blunted, so you need more to get the same level of reward. Does that make sense? So every single time we're having a little bit more, especially if that's what we're focused on and our body is craving it. Your brain is craving it, right? So, sugar and other junk foods, due to their powerful effect on the reward centers of the brain, function similarly to drugs of abuse like cocaine, nicotine, methamphetamines, any of those kinds of things. Okay? And this is really important, guys. You can actually get counseling for sugar addiction. I have a friend who went to AA because he had an alcohol addiction, but ended up going to counseling because things weren't really working for him. He had quit the alcohol, but he basically replaced it with another addiction, which ended up being sugar. And he actually made a post on Facebook a couple months ago, and I was so incredibly proud of him, because it almost seems like, you're addicted to sugar. We're all addicted to sugar, right? Or we don't think of it in the way that cocaine, and nicotine and things like that affect us on a day-to-day basis. So I really want you guys to really reach out and do some research here, okay? And I'm not talking about eating sugar, like candy or chocolate or things like that. I'm talking about processed foods, breads and pastas and all of that turn into sugar, guys. Sugar is the devil. I'm telling you right now. All it does is cause inflammation in your body. And then, as we discussed, what happens? Your body's response to this, right? It's your body's response. So it releases all these extra white blood cells and it becomes depleted, and then you start getting sick, and the cycle again begins. Seriously. So yeah, I really want you guys to just really talk about or think about those kinds of things, okay? Yeah, so, well, it's not hard to know. If it's been a processed sugar, it's not bad. If it doesn't come from natural sources, it's not good, okay? It's been, sorry, I gotta move in. This idiot next door is not. Seriously. Okay, so I'm gonna start here. Hopefully that doesn't fall. Oh my god, it's just gonna be a great night. Anyways, sorry guys. But yeah, so sugar addiction leads to inflammation, okay? So as we already talked about inflammation, this is obviously a terrible thing for your body, because your body's constantly fighting things, and it's not really nourishing your body in any way, okay? Do you guys have questions on any of this kind of stuff? Like, seriously, please comment. Even a thumbs up or whatever. I feel like I'm talking to myself right now. But I'd love to hear from you guys. So I'm going to switch gears from the sugar addiction. I want to talk about gut health, okay? So like I said at the beginning of this program, we talked about gut health, where 80% of your health lies in your gut. Well, what does that mean? It means that if you have bad bacteria in your gut, you're going to have bad immunity. If you've been sick a lot over this last year and you're on antibiotics, guys, guess what? Antibiotics can be your friend and they can be awful at the same time, because antibiotics wipe all the bacteria out, the good and the bad. Okay, so you need that good gut bacteria to increase your immunity in your life. To be able to digest those kinds of things. Sorry, I'm just making sure, because this is a really important subject to me, to be really honest. And I really did a lot of research today for you guys, so that you would understand where I'm coming from and how important this really is, that you guys understand why I'm talking about this, okay? So I have so many clients that are coming through. I've been sick last week, and I was sick 2 months ago, and I keep getting sick and sick and sick. Check yourself, you guys, okay? What'd you do after you took the antibiotics? Did you take the time and put the good bacteria back into your body? If you haven't, this is a #1 priority for yourself, okay? Go to the store, go buy some good high amount of probiotics. And I'm talking about the billions. And I'm not talking about yogurt. Yogurt is just another process, okay? The yogurts that are in the store are not fermented properly for you to get that good bacteria, okay? Activia and all that shit is crap. I'm telling you right now. Also, they tell you all about the good bacteria and then they add all the sugar to it. Big business, okay? You can make your own. Fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, all that kind of stuff. So healthy for you. There's so many things that you can do to increase your gut health without having to take pills. If you've been on an antibiotic, I would absolutely encourage you to supplement with a probiotic. A good, high quality probiotic, okay? This is your health. This is not the time to save money, okay? Take the time, get it done. And I'm being kind of a jerk, but nobody thinks about this stuff. It's like, oh, it's just an extra cost, and I don't need that. Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, you need it. Okay, if I haven't been on antibiotics in probably 7 years, I have bad gut health because of IBS. But I'm going to tell you about a little trick that I've learned in the last few weeks that has changed my life so much. But I want to stay with the gut health here just for a couple seconds. So your good gut health, it assists in food breakdown. It helps produce essential nutrients for the rest of your body. Allows for greater digestion, enzyme breakdown. Okay, signs of bad gut health: poor bowel movement, unexplained headaches. Did you think of that? No, of course not, because you went to the doctor and you took a pill. And I'm not being a jerk to you guys. I'm just saying this is the way that we normally operate, and I want you guys to slow down and think about what you're doing. You're just taking more in because that's what you were told, okay? And I'm not saying that was a terrible thing, because your doctors are only educated on so much. Your doctors have no nutrition background. Did you know that? I don't know that most people, I was really shocked when I found that out. Your doctor takes 1 semester in all the 7 years, general practitioner nutrition course. So 3 months of their entire practicum is nutrition. Pretty sad, considering that's what our bodies base everything on. So stuff like this kind of gets me really angry and gets me riled up and stuff like that, because it is such, and at the end of the day, it's such big business. I posted something a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, about the 10 top food companies, how they dominate pretty much every other single food company in North America. And if you don't believe me, check it out. There are 10 companies that pretty much dominate every single category of your processed, packaged, health food life. Take a look. Take the time to take a look. Eat the real food, guys. I know I'm getting a little crazy right now, but this is so important to me that you guys understand that. There was a couple girls who started the Whole for 30, and they weren't counting calories. They were just making sure that they were eating whole foods. Guess what happened? Lost some weight. They feel great. Gut health is good. Skin is good. Sleeping's great. Stress levels down. Amazing. They didn't take a pill. They ate real food. All right? So it's really important to me that you guys understand that, to me, food is medicine, and it should be for you as well. And there's so many, again, really good ways of getting good gut health. Again, fermented foods, bone broths. You know, like you have a chicken one night, throw it in the water. Make yourself a little broth with it. You can make soups, all sorts of things. They can be very low in fat, depending on what kind of diet you eat. They can be really high in nutrients and vegetables and things like that. So again, like, take the time, what I'm talking about tonight, and look into it. It's called Google. It has a lot of information. Thanks, Luca. So yeah. So I'm going to share my little secret with you, and I actually left it outside, but I have IBS, and I've had it since I was a little kid. Didn't really know that I had it. My dad would always get mad at me hang on a second. When I ran after dinner, because we were a very strict household, and you ate what was on the plate, and if you didn't eat what was on the plate, there was nothing else. But he would get really upset with me when I would literally, like, not even dinner was done and I would have to go to the washroom. And I think for a while he thought that I was doing some bad things or whatever, but I'm like, I don't really know what to tell you, Dad. Like, this is just what happens. And I was always like that. So I never really got sick or anything like that. It was just not a very fun thing. It was just really uncomfortable. And over the last probably 4 or 5 years, it was becoming a real problem. It was affecting my social life, going out in public and stuff like that. I would have to be very mindful of what I was eating. Yeah, because if you guys know what IBS or if you have Crohn's or colitis or anything like that, it's kind of awful. And it's hard to explain to people if they don't really understand. And it's kind of embarrassing too. So recently, as you guys know, I follow a ketogenic diet, which is a very high-fat diet, low-carb. But I started it as a diet, like a weight loss thing. And I really didn't pay much attention except for my macronutrients, making sure my fat was over 70%, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't taking into consideration the sources of the fat, right? Or where I was getting my food to get those fats up and things like that. And it worked for a while. It was great. I lost like a bunch of weight and stuff like that. And then I kind of got lazy keto and stuff like that. And then I started using excuses. I'm not eating enough bacon and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't really like bacon. It's lovely once in a while. Hey, Lacey. Hey, Laura. It's great once in a while, but it's not something that I really enjoy eating. I don't feel good when I eat it. It's just one of those things. So there's this myth that you're supposed to be eating all these like really high like protein fats and stuff like that. And I got really frustrated because nothing was happening for me. And I just felt like I was eating all this really unhealthy fat. I was not feeling good about myself. And I mean internally, emotionally, things like that. My energy levels were super low. Started looking for excuses. People are talking about my metabolism getting affected by the keto, all these kinds of things. And I kind of left it for a little while and I got really frustrated. But about 6 weeks ago, I'm not even totally sure how I found her. But I found this woman online, and she is a holistic nutritionist and is very keto friendly. So she promotes it for everything. And the reasons aren't because of weight loss. She is not about weight loss. We're talking about holistic here. She's talking about regulating metabolism, regulating hormones, brain activity. So if you have depression, things like that. So again, what we're talking about here tonight, about the real things, about how food affects us, and we don't really think about it because, okay, I'm feeling sad today. I don't think about the things that I ate. I'm just going to take a pill, right? And that's how we are, and that's normal. Like, that's just how we are. That's what we're learned on, right? Again, remember, your doctor has 1 semester of nutrition, and it was a very basic course of nutrition. How long your doctor's been around, I don't know, but consider that source, okay? So if you're taking nutrition advice from your doctor and she's just giving you a bunch of pills to make your tummy feel better or your brain feel better or you're sleeping better, sometimes I would guess probably 90% of the time you don't need any of it. If we actually paid attention to the things that we're putting into our bodies. Again, I'm not talking about alcohol, I'm not talking about drugs, I'm talking about our food, okay? Any questions on any of that? This is really important to me, so I know I sound really emphatic about stuff like that, but it is my background, and honestly, I've never not believed in it. I've come away from it, definitely. But the last few weeks, I've really come back to it. So I was listening to this girl, and the website is healthfulpursuit.com. Her name is Leanne Vogel. And she has the worst voice ever. Sorry, Leanne. But I really enjoyed her podcast and stuff like that. And I've learned a lot because I kind of came away, again, from the diet idea of the calorie counting, of the weight loss thing. And I just completely stopped doing all of that. And guess what happened? I'm wearing a tank top I haven't worn in probably a year and a half. And I feel good. I have no idea how much I weigh. I'm totally fine with that. My scale is about this much dust on it. even happier about that because I really don't care. It makes no difference to me at this point as long as I feel good about myself. But I actually am feeling good. So something I've added into my diet, and guys, I'm going to probably include a link below when I post this again, is collagen. So collagen, in the past, you guys, and this is totally true, helps with skin, hair, all of those kinds of things. But guess what else it does? It helps with digestion. It helps with your gut's lining. It helps heal damaged cells in your gut. So if you have bad gut health, you have IBS, you have Crohn's, you have colitis, these are things that you might want to think about adding into your diet. Collagen is a real food. Okay? Yes, it's sort of a derivative of a supplement. It's very hard to actually get an actual, there's no such thing as real collagen. Okay, that's wrong. Let's just stick with the hydrolyzed collagen powder. Okay, it's very natural. It's good for your gut health. Okay, it helps with connective tissue. It helps heal. It helps seal. It helps with your gastrointestinal tract. All of those kinds of things. And I can honestly tell you, it is the one thing in the last 3 or 4 weeks that has totally turned my world around. For me, it's a cost. But when I'm talking about my health and my day-to-day function, that's really important to me. Is there any holistic doctor here in Edmonton that you know? There's lots of holistic doctors, actually, especially in the last 3 years. Edmonton actually has, I can't remember the name of it, but they have an education system here in Edmonton for holistic nutrition right now. There's many out there. Trying to remember the lady that Victoria. I have to think about it. I haven't been going to anybody right now. The problem with holistic nutrition, and this is for everybody, is that it's not covered by benefits because our government doesn't really deem it something that we need. So you can go to a nutritionist, which is fine, but they're not necessarily going to talk to you about the way your relationship with food is. And that's a different thing. So health and your weight loss, because those are the things that they're concerned about, your cardiac, respiratory, all of those kinds of things, they're going to concern themselves about that. Just because I know this. And it can be kind of a lengthy process. They do elimination diets, things like that. A holistic nutritionist will talk about you and how you feel about things. And yes, that might sound a little hokey, but it's not at all. The way that you feel. Again, going back to sugar addiction, why do you crave the sugary treats? Why do you crave any of the processed foods? There's an absolute reason. It's because you're addicted to it. Okay, these are foods. This is your relationship with the food. Okay, and it's not a healthy one. For most of us, we have a very unhealthy relationship with food. We treat it as something that we have to do, not something that we should do. So just kind of throwing that out there. So we're kind of reaching the end of our half an hour here. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the question. The skill testing question for everybody. If you guys don't have any other questions, please comment below if you do. But the skill testing question is, what is on my email tagline? If you are on my email list, what was the saying that I always go to from Hippocrates? So if you can say it below, just type it in below. The shaker cup's outside. We're going to do the pink Supergirl shaker cup tonight. So if you can answer, pretend that I have a shaker cup here. Sorry, I left it outside when dude started weed whacking his lawn. But yeah, so if you can answer that question below, again, what is Hippocrates saying? You betcha, Kaylee. Food is thy medicine, and medicine is thy food. You betcha. Kaylee, I'm going to see you tomorrow. I'm there all day tomorrow, noon and evening. So why don't you come find me? I have a pink shaker cup. If you don't like pink, I have a blue one, a Superman. But just come find me tomorrow. Okay, so congratulations, Kaylee. And everybody else, if you have a comments, please tag me below. I'm going to share this all to the groups and to the pages. So if you have questions, please let me know. My name is Chantel Glesman. I'm the only one out there. I think that's probably a good thing for everybody, but yeah, I'm the only one. So if you want to tag me and just let me if you have any questions, or if you don't like, hey Kaylee, if you don't want to do it publicly, you are more than welcome to PM me. Okay, if you want to send me a private message, I'm pretty much around all night. I'm gonna have some dinner here in a little bit. But aside from that, I'm gonna sign off here, guys. So congratulations, Kaylee. And for the rest of you, I'm really hoping that you're going to take this really serious. This is really important to me, guys. It's not about your calorie count. It's not about your weight loss. It's about your overall health. Long term, guys. Think big picture. Okay? So, like I said, if you have any questions, I have so much crazy, useless information up here. Sometimes it's useful. But again, pick my brain if you need to. Aside from that, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I will talk to you when I see you. Okay. Good night, guys.